Welcome everybody to the latest trade pending webinar. Here we are, it's 2:01. We're going to get started now. Megan, next slide, please. On your Zoom today, it's me, Matthew, Chief Marketing Officer, and Megan, please introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Megan Demaree. I've been working with TradePending for about 4.5 years. Have a background in retail and wholesale. That's where I started right out of college. So that's all I know. And really happy to be part of the team and show y'all this new product. Pretty excited.
All right, next slide. As we always do, we're going to record this. We will share it out afterwards so you can get it. You can watch it twice as fast as you want. And we will answer questions. If I catch them as we go, I'll funnel those over to Megan and we'll definitely answer questions at the end. Next slide. Today, we're going to walk through just some upcoming trade pending events. We have some really fascinating new survey data that we can share with you, and it ties really nicely into what you'll see from Megan. And pay attention to that drinking bird over there. We call it the wobbly bird. Its nickname is Peep. That's our mascot. I'm going to come back to that on the next slide. So what's coming up? We got a team out at Digital Dealer right now. Bug your people if they're out there to say hi. We got a nice crew out there. We'll also be at the Kane conference coming up in November. We're sponsoring that, as well as Women in Automotive, which is in December. Megan, are you headed to that? Is that right?
I'm not, but Julie Woolwine will be.
That's right. Julia will be there. And then I said, remember our wobbly bird mascot? Well, coming up in December, we have the first annual trade pending awards called the Wobblies to celebrate our top performing customers. So that's coming up. Next slide. All right, so into this survey data here, what we did is after people completed the trade-in process and they got their values, their trade-in ranges, we asked them a few questions. And one of the questions was, the offer that you received here, how does it compare? Is it more than you expected? Is it the same? Or is it the offer lower than what you were expecting? And when people answered the offer is too low, we then asked follow-on question. Well, after seeing it, how likely are you to take your car into this dealership? This is to some degree common sense, but it's also really important to see and to call out. If somebody thinks that the offer that they are getting is too low, they are incredibly less likely to bring that car into the dealership. They're a lot less likely to answer the phone, answer a text, reply to an email. And you can see this was across roughly 1,800 people across the United States. So it's a pretty sizable data set there. So this is kind of the aggregate data here. And then on the next slide, you actually see some of the individual responses. We gave people they can type in whatever they want. We got some really amazing things people were saying, but you can see here that it's like Carvana is offering me more, Vroom is offering me more, I've been offered more from here, I was gonna trade it in, but CarMax is offering me more here. And right, this is not, everybody was not saying this, but this is some really key feedback here. So on the next slide, to really hone in on some key points here, you guys know this, the market's super aggressive right now. If you're not yet, or if you need a refresh on it, be really intentional about your inventory sourcing and your acquisition strategy there. If you have the ranges set really high on your trade-in offers, whatever tool you're using, if it's us, if it's somebody else, if you've got those low bands too low, you could be potentially turning people away. And the message here is if you can't control the offers that are being presented to customers, they're invisible to you. They are not going to respond. And you see, that's a big chunk of people, percentage-wise, that are saying yeah, I'm not going to bother with this dealer because the offer's coming back too low. So you have to be able to control, because the market is really competitive right now. That's going to change at some point, but for right now, that's how we are. And so that's where a good transition point for us is now to hand it over to Megan and to talk about Snap Offer and how that flows into Snap and how you can control these types of things. Megan, take it away. And I might ask you some questions as we go here, but otherwise I'll be quiet.
Sounds good. All right. So for those who aren't familiar with TradePending, we've been around for about 7 years. We have the great ability to analyze every vehicle that's online each night that's backed by an OEM. So we're pulling about 18,000 dealerships inventory across the United States and Canada. So that's why we're able to help really build innovative products to help dealerships with falling in line with the market and being able to have the flexibility of standing behind their own appraisal process or vehicle acquisition process. It's no secret that, we see this every single year when we do this, that, the number one reason why a customer comes to your site is to research the new and used inventory. But the number two reason is to research the value of the trade. So that's where Snap and Snap Offer are hitting us right here, is this 32% of your customers are coming from there. And what we've had in the past is dealers have had to choose between one or the other. Now we're allowing the dealer to kind of have their cake and eat it too, right? So we don't want to handicap the dealer by having them choose between a long, lengthy process that ultimately just completely depletes the conversion of the mobile customer. So we built a add-on to Snap. So you do have to have Snap in order to have it, but we are allowing them now to be able to convert their leads for trade and sell right there on their website, quick and easy. So what you see here is the benefits between Snap and Snap Offer. And we're allowing them to still keep that customer on the website, pull that customer through that pipeline, and be able to get them into that sell now vehicle acquisition, a part of the industry that we're in right now, where we need to be able to brand our own buying process and compete with those products or standalones like Carvana and Vroom that Matthew was talking about, that, we're getting feedback from that slide that he got from those 18,000 customers. So the key differentiators here is that you're going to be able to still see the actual conversion from the mobile customer. So as you know, if you are a customer of TradePending, we build everything mobile first and responsive on a mobile device. So I'm going to be able to show you how not only are you going to be able to have a really quick, easy process on your desktop, but you're going to be able to still touch those customers on the mobile device and walk them through a more engaging process, a more deep dive into that process for you to get more information and be able to pull them into your showroom easier. So I'm going to show you on a live site real quick. And if you do want to see a case study, this is an awesome case study that one of our regional sales managers clients, Julie Woolwine, she went in there and had a great conversation. So definitely take a peek at going and looking at that. That's on our website. So switching over into a dealer here. So I like to show mobile first, and that way we can touch base on how quick and easy the product is and functional first on there, because that's where about 70% of our customers are coming from. Matthew, I'm sure you can agree, like definitely right now you're seeing that that's higher. In most cases, somewhere between the high 70s, I've even seen in the 80s. So we want to really make that process easy for the customer. So they're going to go into that simple value your trade call to action that we can change to sell your car, very clear messaging, how you want to build on your website. And just, with thumb taps, you would click through here.
Megan, can you make that any bigger by any chance? There we go. Thank you.
So here we have, I'm going to go through my 2009 Lexus that I had, which is a RX 350. And you see, I'm just going through with my thumb taps. It's a base model. And then I'm going to go straight into that op form, and I'm going to still get that customer's first, last name, and email and phone number. So take a moment and notice that you're still going to get that lead. I'm not breaking that process of conversion. Now you've already got the customer's information, and we can then pull them through that buying process by having that call to action of get a firm offer. So when we go here and we see the value to the dealer, that's all been customizable by your own settings and that we've gone through with you before. But now we have this very clear messaging that you can do, get a firm offer, sell your vehicle now. If you want to show some urgency, obviously miles is a huge thing. So we've developed about 12 questions is like a standard question that we've set up with, and we'll go through and talk with you about your how you appraise your vehicles, whether or not you like a question or not. We can change the verbiage on that. But this is some questions that we've developed that we see a high success rate and completion. So we have the ability even now on mobile to be able to take a picture. So you don't have to type that VIN in. You can just scroll in here and put your license plate in there, or you can take a picture of it. It does default to the state that you're in. Obviously I'm in South Carolina, so I had to change that. But then it's going to confirm your vehicle. and we can go through these questions that the dealer has chosen, and we've walked through them and made any kind of adjustments with them. And we are going to be able to get a single number. Now more than ever, the demand for the customer to see a single number is extremely high. So there's a lot of value for the dealer to be able to present something like this while still being able to convert that customer. So we have two options here where you can do either a certificate or a check. And the dealer decided to go with a certificate. Obviously, we're showing this information here. They get to see the market report, get to see why the value is that value. And down here, we have the discounts based on how they answered their questions. Now, I will go and show you on the back end what it looks like. Kind of, you get this lead here. It was sent to the CRM right as soon as it was completed while the consumer is still on the website, and they get all the information right here in the lead. So it's very valuable for your BDC and your sales staff to click on that link and be able to look at the process, and they know how to handle these leads because they can talk to the customer that, hey, if it was in really bad condition or if it was really in good condition, we have just a little bit more talking tracks with them to build more value and get that appointment, get that vehicle and that customer in there. All of this is flexible, so it does require like a 30-minute implementation call with our product manager, Don Thompson, but we want to make sure that each one of these is flexible to your process. And how we do that is we have a simple backend here. Obviously, I'm not going to show you this dealers because out of privacy of their configuration, but this is the standard kind of snap offer that we typically set up. You can change your labeling, your base amount to 327, or if you wanted to do like a 167 point inspection, we can change that. Everything here, like the congratulations message, the disclaimer message, anything can be customized to how you want to show to your customer. And then we have the questions here where it has like that standard 11 questions plus confirming of miles, and we can build this process based on how you would like to do so. So if you wanted to show the VIN or the license plate, we can make that optional or mandatory. I typically would say let's make that optional because not everybody does know their VIN, but some dealers choose to have it, and they say, quote unquote, I'm not doing this for practice. So once that customer, if they're going through the process in theory, they think that they should have their license plate, so we can choose that based on your own accord. As well as, asking questions that if you look here, I can go in and change the verbiage. I can make some disqualifying questions. And I also can go in based on how the consumer answers the question. I can do a minimum deduction and a maximum deduction, but it will default to a percentage based on the price range of the vehicle.
So Megan, what do you mean by disqualifying?
So when they click here, so if they were to click on this question, has it been an accident? One accident vehicle was towed. It's going to allow the customer to actually complete the process still, but it's just at the end, not going to box the dealer in the corner. It will say that they require a in-store appraisal or a little bit more information from the consumer. The dealer rep will be in contact with you or whatever messaging they like, but it will not put a value at the end.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. So then we can just go through some of these questions here. And, if you had some one-off questions of something that you wanted, you can always reach out to your regional sales manager by going to tradepending.com/states. And you can click on and you'd be able to find out who your regional sales manager is, and their cell phone, email is right there for you. If you have any other questions, or did I miss anything, Matthew?
No, I think the key here is that the product itself is extremely configurable. So you can choose which questions to ask, how much to deduct for those questions. But as Megan mentioned, we do have essentially a default set that you can launch with so that you don't have to think about it, that we have gone through and we've tested and said, yep, this will still get people through the funnel. They will complete this, but it's not something where they have to answer 30 or 50 things and you're going to see a lot higher abandonment from.
So it looks like we have a couple questions.
We do.
Okay.
So first one is, can Snap offer integrate with digital retailing products?
So Right now, it does not, because we want to first and foremost still continue on with conversion. Digital retailing process is more of a different type of customer than what we're attracting. So we just we build it as an add-on just to Snap right now, but there's no APIs. But I wouldn't say that that is a off the table conversation for our team.
That's true. And we're ultimately serving a different need than a digital retailing product here, but the data does integrate back into the CRM so that you would be able to sync if someone's attempting to go through the Snap offer process one day and they come back 3 days later and go through digital retailing, you would be able to see those two people coming together. Next question. Can you change the questions at different places on the website? And so I think this person is asking, like, can you have different layouts or ask different questions based upon different strategies?
Yeah. So in our configuration, the backend, I can go in and build it based off of the VDP, the SRP, the landing page. So we can definitely do that for you.
Wonderful. What's a typical time to go live?
So typically what it is you sign on with us, and then we will schedule a call with you, your sales manager, and the product developer, and we will get it set up. It takes about a 30-minute phone call, and then we can push it live. So really, we could go live that same day in theory, but first and foremost is as soon as we can get that implementation call, then that's when we can go live.
Wonderful. Next question. Does this integrate with dealer inspired chat like the normal TradePending tool does?
Amy, it does not. So the integration with the API right now is just with Snap.
So what we mean, so the consumer can go through the chat and they can get a trade-in range just like they normally would through the chat, but there's not yet a single price offer API where they could return back. They could, you wouldn't necessarily, well, in this case, the consumer is not going to be going through and asking or answering 10 or 11 questions in a chat box to then get to the single price.
API is just with Snap for right now.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, can you implement on our buying site and feed to multiple dealerships? Yes, we definitely can. I've got a lot of dealer groups that are adapting that. And then we have a certain pricing structure for lead routing. So whoever is on your, whatever state you're in, just make sure you reach out to whoever you are based on there. We got their information and they'll be able to answer any kind of questions right to that.
All right, we have another question here. So what is the lead going to look like when it comes into my CRM?
Okay, for sure. So when we go in and we look at the lead, here, it's going to show up where it will have a little bit more information. And when you click on the market report, it will tell you that it's a buy now lead. But previously what I showed you was it's going to show you all the information, show you how many questions they completed. And so we have this market report, and then it will show you all the information. So this is what it would look like in your CRM.
So that additional information, the answers to those questions is passing into the CRM.
Yep.
Got it. Thank you. All righty. So let's flip back over to the presentation. If you have more questions, keep typing them in. We can get to them as we go. All right.
I clicked on the case study.
All right. So we were in the Q&A section. So as Megan mentioned at the top of this, we do see a lot of data across all the retail listings across the United States. We've compiled all that. If you haven't seen this yet, it's the TradePending 100. It's the 100 most in supply used vehicles. It is a fascinating example of just how crazy the market is right now, because it essentially shows which vehicles have been appreciating the last 18 months, which just even fact to say we're saying that vehicles have been appreciating is weird enough as it is, but that's some really, really fascinating data there. I would recommend checking that out. along with the next slide, which is our ultimate inventory sourcing checklist. If you're looking for more ideas, more inspiration, more strategies, more tactics for sourcing inventory, take a look at that thing. And next slide. We've been doing this now for a few months. If you made it this far and you do not yet have your own wobbly bird, please go to bit.ly/peepbird, that is case sensitive, put in your information, and we will mail you that exact box with that exact bird inside it.
It's been quite a trend on our dealers' desks for sure. So keep it up.
Wonderful. It looks like we do have one more question here as we're going.
Okay.
So if you think about somebody like Vroom or CarMax, what's the best advantage you provide against those guys?
So we allow them, the dealer, to still brand themselves, and you can actually compete with those kind of competitions. So what we can do during an implementation call, or with your regional sales manager, you can reach out to, is we can go and see if that's like your biggest competition and that's kind of the process that you'd like to build. We can bounce off some ideas and build that around there. We do have a lot of flexibility to brand yourself and keep your customers right there on your website, and being able to compete and have control over that for the dealer.
That's right. So if you run 5 cars through Snap Offer, 5 cars through Vroom, or 5 cars through CarMax, and you find that your values are lower than you want or higher than you want, you can go back in and control those and configure those so that you are either like maintaining a competitive pricing against them or just below them. Whatever your strategy is going to be, you can change it so that you are meeting the needs of your team there in your sourcing strategy. And if you wanted to set up the configuration so you asked very similar questions to Vroom or CarMax, you can. If you have a better approach, if you know your local market better than they do, there's a great chance that you do, then change and adapt those questions so that you are responding to them in a better way.
Yeah, and keep in mind, dealers or consumers want to shop local anyway. There's definitely a big gap between doing a third-party buy transaction like that. So if you can build something to be competitive, then you get to kind of monopolize the market yourself.
Got it. One more question. So do trade pending leads go to other trade pending dealers in the area? Are you guys reselling leads like some of your competition does?
No, that's why we are the best, because we get to keep our customers right there on with our dealer. So everything else, they have a third-party site. If you've gone to TradePending.com, we don't have anything that would drive a customer to be able to search other dealers or inventory or anything like that. So those leads are yours.
Wonderful. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. Thank you, Megan, for presenting today. We'll go ahead and conclude with that, and we will share the recording out with everybody. Thanks.